In the quiet town of Millbrook, nestled among rolling hills and picturesque farmland, a community's faith was about to be shattered. Pastor James Thornton had been a pillar of strength for his congregation for over 2 decades. His charismatic sermons and compassionate demeanor drew people from all walks of life to his church. Little did they know, beneath the surface of this beloved religious leader lurked a darkness so profound it would shake the very foundations of their beliefs. As the sun rose on a crisp autumn morning, Detective Sarah Collins received a call that would change her life forever. A body had been discovered in the woods behind the church, mutilated beyond recognition. The victim's identity was unknown, but one thing was certain: this was no ordinary murder. Sarah's instincts told her this was just the beginning of a nightmare that would consume the entire town. The investigation began, and as Sarah delved deeper into the case, she uncovered a web of secrets that stretched back years. Whispers of missing persons, hushed conversations, and fearful glances painted a picture of a community living in silent terror. But who was behind it all? The pieces of the puzzle refused to fit together, and with each passing day, the pressure to find answers mounted. As the body count rose, a pattern emerged. Each victim bore the same ritualistic markings, a twisted signature that sent chills down Sarah's spine. The killer was methodical, patient, and worst of all, intimately familiar with their victims. The realization hit her like a thunderbolt. The murderer was someone the community trusted implicitly. Sarah's suspicions led her to the church, where she encountered Pastor Thornton. His warm smile and gentle words seemed at odds with the horrors unfolding around them. But as she looked into his eyes, she saw something that made her blood run cold. A flicker of something inhuman, a glimpse of the monster that lay beneath. The investigation took a dramatic turn when a survivor came forward. Emily, a young woman who had narrowly escaped death, told a harrowing tale of betrayal and terror. She spoke of a secret room beneath the church where unspeakable acts were committed in the name of a twisted faith. Her testimony was the key that unlocked the case, but it also put her life in grave danger. As the net closed in around Pastor Thornton, the community was torn apart. Some refused to believe the allegations, clinging desperately to their faith in the man who had guided them for so long. Others, haunted by memories of loved ones lost, demanded justice. The tension in the air was palpable, a powder keg waiting to explode. In a heart-stopping climax, Sarah and her team cornered Pastor Thornton in the very church he had used as a front for his heinous crimes. The ensuing confrontation was a battle not just for justice, but for the soul of Millbrook itself. As the truth came to light, the facade of the kindly pastor crumbled, revealing the true face of evil. The trial that followed was a media sensation, drawing attention from across the nation. As the evidence mounted and survivors bravely testified, the full extent of Pastor Thornton's depravity was laid bare. The community watched in horror as the man they had trusted with their deepest fears and hopes was exposed as a monster in human form. In the end, justice was served. Pastor James Thornton was convicted on multiple counts of murder and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. But for the people of Millbrook, the scars ran deep. The betrayal of trust, the loss of innocence, and the shattered faith would take years to heal. As the dust settled, Detective Sarah Collins stood on the steps of the courthouse, her face a mixture of relief and sorrow. The case was closed, but the impact of Pastor Thornton's crimes would ripple through generations. She knew that for many, the questions would linger. How could they have been so blind? How could evil hide in plain sight for so long? In the aftermath, Millbrook began the slow process of rebuilding. The church that had once been a symbol of hope now stood as a grim reminder of the darkness that had dwelled within its walls. Some called for it to be torn down, while others argued for its preservation as a memorial to the victims. As life in the town gradually returned to a semblance of normalcy, the lessons learned from this tragedy were not forgotten. The community emerged stronger, more vigilant, and more united than ever before. They had faced the unthinkable and survived, but the price had been steep. Years later, Sarah would reflect on the case that had defined her career. The faces of the victims, the courage of the survivors, and the evil that had lurked behind a benevolent smile, these memories would stay with her forever. But she also remembered the resilience of a community that had refused to be broken, the strength that had emerged from the darkest of times. The story of the pastor who butchered his flock became a cautionary tale, a reminder that evil can wear many faces, even those we trust the most. It served as a wake-up call to communities across the nation, urging them to look beyond the surface and to question even the most respected figures. As the sun set on Millbrook, casting long shadows across the town, the echoes of the past still lingered. But with each passing day, hope grew stronger. The wounds inflicted by Pastor Thornton would never fully heal, but from the ashes of tragedy, a new chapter had begun. The town had learned the hard way that true faith lies not in blind devotion to a single figure, but in the bonds of community and the unwavering pursuit of truth.